White folks come out of a hostile climatology. Cold, nothing, no vegetation, no animals, no clean drinking water. He evolved in a hostile environment, which hardened him. So he don't have compassion for people because he grew in a context and in a climate where being compassionate may have cost him his dinner, may have cost him his life. See, in the Ice Age, it wasn't enough to go around, so they had to steal and manipulate. The white man has obsessive compulsive disorder. He also has paranoid personality disorder.
Yes, he does.
He also has narcissistic personality disorder. Christopher Columbus didn't discover America, but because nothing existed until the white man found it, that's the narcissism. I'm going to wipe out the entire history of America, and I'm going to start it in 1492.
Why is it that they want to adopt black kids like that? And you know, they just take them in and then something tragic happens to them.
First of all, the trend for white folks is not to adopt black kids from America. The trend is to adopt black children from Africa. Okay? And the reason you might ask yourself, if you want a black child that bad, why you just ain't get one from your own state? They're all around.
Yeah.
There's more black kids up for adoption as a percentage than any other child, because black people don't adopt black kids. We don't care about black kids. Okay, so they end up being adopted by homosexuals and lesbians. But if you want a black child, there's enough of them in America. Why you got to go halfway around the world to get you a black child? Because you want a black child who's socially ignorant, politically ignorant, economically ignorant. You want a black child that you can totally dominate and control, who's going to feel like being in America is such a blessing that they will let you rape them, molest them. They will let you deprive them of an education. They will let you deprive them of freedom. If you bring a child from a poor African community to America and you don't let them go to school, they're not going to care, because after all, this is a rich house.
Yeah.
If you sexually abuse them, it's wrong, but are they going to tell and risk being sent back to Africa? No. So they want them dumb, deaf, and blind. Wow. They want them politically and socially dumb, deaf, and blind to see. If you get a regular black child from America, you molest them, they might run to the police. You get a regular black child from America and you don't feed them, they might call. They might tell the school, call child. They know they're supposed to go to school. They know who the cops is. But a black child coming from certain places in Africa wouldn't know that.
So with the psychological, the psychology behind that, I want the listeners to understand something. Why do they do? Why must they dominate? Or why do they have to do that? Like, what do they get out of that?
Okay. In order to understand the white man's behavior, you have to understand his biopsychoclimatology. His biopsychoclimatology. In other words, the way in which his biology and his psychology interacted with him in the European Ice Age. White folks come out of a hostile climatology. Cold, nothing, no vegetation, no animals, no clean drinking water. He evolved in a hostile environment, which hardened him. So he don't have compassion for people because he grew in a context and in a climate where being compassionate may have cost him his dinner, may have cost him his life. See, in the Ice Age, it wasn't enough to go around, so they had to steal and manipulate. You understand? So he grew aggressive. He grew angry. He became a manipulator, a controller. The reason he has to control everything is the only way for him to feel secure. Remember, he's a numerical minority. Yes. He's a numerical minority. In order to feel safe, you have to he has OCD. The white man has obsessive compulsive disorder. He also has paranoid personality disorder.
Yes, he does.
He also has narcissistic personality disorder. Like you said earlier, Christopher Columbus didn't discover America, but because nothing existed until the white man found it, that's the narcissism. That's the narcissism. I'm going to wipe out the entire history of America. And I'm going to start it in 1492. How can you do that? Because nobody matters but me and people who look like me. That's it. That's it. This is who he is. It is his biopsychoclimatology. It is the need to control everything in order to feel secure. And it grew out of his experience with nature during the Ice Age, where he had to cut, where he had to manipulate, he had to fight, he had to defend constantly, he had to lie, steal, cheat. That's what was needed in order for him to survive the Ice Age. And so they now simply employ those skills that allowed them to survive the Ice Age, and they use those same set of skills to dominate the entire planet.
Wow. You know what? And I'm gonna end it on that note. I don't want to hold you too much longer, man. That was powerful right there, and I hope y'all got that. I need y'all to get that so y'all can understand. Start grappling with these folk ain't finna change. Don't look for it. It's not gonna fucking happen. All right. Ain't nobody coming.
You gotta also understand this. Let me say this. Let me, not to cut you off, I want to make sure people understand. Behavioral psychology. Let's take a behavioral psychology. In behavioral psychology, there's two principles, two main principles. All behavior is a function of where it happens and the consequences that follow. All behavior is a function of where it happens and the consequences that follow. Black people are also responsible for the white man becoming worse over time. I want to say that again.
Say it.
We are responsible for the white man becoming worse over time. And the reason we're responsible for the white man becoming worse over time is because we have not provided him with consequences that would serve to deter his behavior. Let me say that one more time. We have not provided our oppressor with the consequences that are necessary to deter his behavior over time. We have not done that. And so he will continue to get worse until we provide him with consequences to deter his behavior.
Yes, and that's going to be a lot of destruction, man. It's going to be major, man. So listen, big homie, I ain't want to hold you up, man, but I'm glad we was able to do this.
In order for there to be an oppressor, there must be an oppressed person who is participating in his condition. In order for there to be an enslaver, there must be someone who is enslaved, who is participating in the condition. So as much as we talk about white supremacy, we have to look at the black complicity in our situation.